All right, we're back. Still talking to Joe Trippi about how the technology is changing the campaigns in 2008. So, Joe, actually, you were saying earlier something really interesting about how the Yes We Can user-generated moment that Will.i.am, that might have actually thrown the Obama campaign off a crucial message at a crucial time.
Well,
you want to get into that more, because that it may turn out that we've been all talking about voter-generated content as the wild card, right? That campaigns have lost some control of their message. Now, how far would you go with that?
It's not so much losing control. It's that it's not as very nimble. In other words, once you have a million people saying yes we can, and you realize internally in the campaign that right then and there it's really important to say you have a choice between the status quo and change. Like I think the Obama campaign needed to do, or would have helped them to do on the night of Super Tuesday, and say now for the next 10 states we're going to have a real debate about whether the Democratic Party is going to be for the status quo or whether they're going to be for real change.
Right.
Instead you have...
Keep talking, I'm going to shut this off. This is like hypertech here.
This is just one really great interview. I hope it's coherent.
Yeah.
But what happened is it's not that the people take you off message. It's that there's no real fast, nimble way to signal. It's easy to tell the staff that morning on the staff call at 7 in the morning, we're going to change, and this is going to be how we're going to try to take her on over the next 10 days.
Right.
It's very tough to do that in a way that,
especially when
1 million people that you've helped send this way, and you've been leading.
And when
that
a
way.
compelling thing like the Yes We Can video is capturing all sorts of new attention for you that makes you feel euphoric and like we're just plowing ahead here.
Yeah, I mean, I just think that it's not so much that it's not taken off message though. That's what I'm trying to say. It's more just so far the one thing we haven't figured out is the tool that lets all those people know, hey, this is great, but we're turning this way right now.
Right. It's interesting because I remember you talking about the difficulties the Dean campaign had in the fall when you needed to tell people that you needed help. It was very hard to admit that, publicly. Problem number one. Problem number two, what would have happened if you had said we need help?
Right.
I
think if we said we need help, people would have helped.
Well, look what happened to Hillary when she said she needed help.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So,
well, that's so far the one time that they've really used the medium.
Right.
When, they finally learned, what was it, 8 months, 9 months into the cycle, into this year? I mean, into the 13 months.
Right.
Into the February is the first time you hear her say.
Yeah, first time mentioning her URL even.
Yeah, that's when you go to HillaryClinton.com. I mean, that's when you realize, oh shit. They finally
woken up.
Figured out. Woken up. We've woken up the last top-down campaign. There is no top-down campaign left in Democratic politics.
Great. No, that's probably a good thing.
It just took them till February to figure it out. But that also is one of the reasons she's starting to do better than she did with her top-down style.
So I want to ask you one last question while we're talking about the innovators in this cycle. You can't not talk about 2008 without talking about what Ron Paul did online, and in particular these money bombs and this movement that, in fact, he didn't try to control at all. I mean, this over here, I don't know if you can see it. This is there to the hour by hour track of the 2 days where they raised, like $5 and $6 million a day. And the only reason that those charts even exist is because he did something that no one else has ever done, which is they put their real-time campaign fundraising data down to the name, address, and amount up on their website as it came in. Right? Now, what do you think of that?
I don't know if we could have done that back in 2000.
Yeah, but you could have done it now, right?
Yeah. No,
so is it a great thing to do?
Absolutely.
Why aren't more campaigns doing it?
I don't know. I mean, it's interesting because I think the Ron Paul thing is a little bit like Dean, where everybody just thought the campaign was crazy, therefore there's nothing we can learn from it. I mean, a lot of the establishment Republicans think Ron Paul's a joke. There's nothing they can learn from what he did, and frankly, I think there's a lot of Democrats who think.
But he in the fourth quarter he was the leading Republican fundraiser.
No, I agree, but I'm saying it was the same thing. It was like the people who watched Howard Dean, like the Edwards at the time, and the Clinton. I mean the Kerry people at the time in Gephardt, people were all saying things like, deans of bar scene out of Star Wars, meetups or bar scene out of Star Wars. I mean, you see the same kind of criticism of the Ron Paul.
So if it were up to you,
to laugh, but they're laughing at the wrong thing.
Sure.
There's stuff that we should go to work and learn from on this.
So you would do this if you were
Absolutely.
in the next campaign you're
Absolutely. Well, I'm not going
in?
to.
Uh-oh.
I learned my lesson.
You're going to try and swear off now.
I was good for like 12 or 13. I swore it off in '88, and you don't see me back until 2003.
Okay.
So that's 15 years I stayed away. So it is possible. But yeah, no, I mean, I think there's a lot to learn. As I was saying, look, we're all pioneers right now. No one really knows. No one really knows what's the best way to use YouTube yet. I mean, we all have notions about it, but no one's proven. But it will be proven. I mean, somebody's going to. And frankly, it's oftentimes not going to be a campaign. It's going to be one citizen out there who commits, an act of journalism on YouTube or an act of such creative genius that it actually picks up their candidate and helps move them. And I think all these things are possible. There's also the potential downsides, but I'm much more up about the strengthening of democracy, getting the millions of people that Barack Obama got involved this time, the huge turnouts we're seeing on the Democratic side because of this new energy, and young people in particular getting involved in creating new sites and doing things. So no, I think, look, no one's perfected it yet. I think the Obama campaign's come the closest, and I envy the tools that they have this time. And wish they were there that we had to use them, but there's a lot of powerful things that can be done, and I think it's just starting. I still think we're just starting to see the first birthing of this interactive politics where the people really are back in getting much more control than they had in just the top-down television media world.
Terrific. I hope you're right.
No,
Thanks, Joe.
So too. But, no, I think we all are.
Yeah, definitely.